Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of this little book right here. These ones as well, where you can get them down in that description, you guys. So go down. My merchandise is down there, everything. But what's not down there anymore, you guys, is Patreon. Like I said, I was getting rid of Patreon because it's just too hard. It's easier for me. Bring your memberships over here because it's so much easier for me to just do everything for the members here, and I have a lot of stuff planned. So bring those memberships over here, you guys, because I'm going to do lives. I'm going to do things with just Kristen and I on lives, some podcasts, just for members, some merch giveaway, stuff like that. So bring the memberships over here, you guys, and thank you for all the years you guys have been there at Patreon, just supporting me silently. Truly, truly means the world to me. As always, everybody here that is a part of this channel, that is just discovering us, that is just becoming part of this family and opening they're broadening their minds to groupie isn't just anything about Almost Famous. That was a farce. We are way more badass than that. And I am wearing clothes today. I just want people to see I'm wearing a dress. So, because I had a community violation. So, not taking clothes off or anything like that. And it said pornography or that stuff, so I don't know. But I am wearing a dress. It's clothes. Anyway, so thank you, everybody, for the amazing family we're creating here. And for even the lurkers that are just watching and enjoying, thank you so much. And hey, the person who knows my niece, you guys, be careful on vacay if you're going to do stuff that I will. Anyway, thank you guys as always. And as always, I like how much input you guys put into this channel, things you want to see. And you know how quick I do things? I do them the second you ask me. Because today's topic is something someone put down in the comments yesterday and today that we've been talking about. But what we're going to talk about right now, you guys, is today's little beer. I love this, you guys. Shades is my favorite local. They do some killer flavors, and this is one of their seasonal beers, obviously it being pumpkin pie brewed with pumpkin spice and lactose. So we're going to see what this is like. So everybody, okay, I'm going to have to do something to get the top off because of my nails. There we go. Got it up a little bit. Oh, everybody kick up your feet, grab your pumpkins. Let's have a little cocktail and a rocktail. Not necessarily my rocktail, but it's an interesting topic. And I'm going to say there is a trigger warning. Anything we talk about here is 100% alleged. And I want that to be quite clear. This is alleged because this is something that I think is kind of relatively new to the rock world. Oh, cheers, big ears. Oh my God. As always, the people over at Shades, the brewmasters, everybody there is so friggin' awesome, so talented, so delicious. It really, because the one thing that this doesn't that this has that other pumpkin pies don't is that crust flavor. Oh my God, it's so good, you guys. I can't even tell you. Oh my gosh, it's so good. If you guys are ever in Salt Lake City, seriously, hit up Shades because they are delish. Lots of great flavors. Their Taco Tuesday is one of my favorites. But anyway, so today's topic, you guys, we are going to talk about a subject that came up that Bobbi Brown kind of touched in two of her books, and it went kind of unnoticed, the first one, really. So I don't know how this wasn't more noticed before, and she also talked about it in a recent interview, something that happened to her ex-husband, that somebody had come on and asked me what I thought about it and what my input was. And thank you guys for coming to me, because I know there's all these rock and roll channels here on YouTube of the lists and the news and this and that and groupies and all this stuff. But those are people who just have to do research and don't do a lot of it and just used old hash lists, old hash stories. But I was there, and I thank you guys so much for acknowledging that my opinion might be a little more educated because of my experience. So thank you guys truly, truly so much for really putting that kind of faith in me. It truly, truly means the world. So we are going to talk about what Bobbi Brown kind of brought out and is making controversial at the moment. Like I said, all this is alleged. Okay, and this is just my opinion based on some of the players that I know in the situation. And I've done a little bit of research, looked at a couple other channels on this. And some of them, we'll see. But I've done the best research I can because Reddit can't always be the source. But we're going to talk about what happened to Jani Lane, what allegedly happened to Jani Lane by a heavy metal singer. He was violated. So we're going to kind of go through the timeline of everything, and things can be got wrong. So don't get me wrong, because I'm not trying to say that somebody's a liar, somebody's this, somebody's that, because I forget sometimes. I mean, hell, I forgot I slept with Toby Keith. I remembered I slept with someone that night. And it was a lot of fun, but I didn't realize it was Toby Keith, and up and coming before he was famous Toby Keith. So anyway, so things can be, dates can get mixed up and stuff like that, because I have to really stretch some time to figure out, what year was that again? Are you sure that wasn't Iron Maiden? You know, when I talked to Danny, when I talked to Kristen or Marie, because we hang out with so many rock stars, and I'm sure that she did as well. So, okay, so now, according to Bobby, it was when Jani was 19 and first come to Hollywood. Well, he was born in 64, but in 1985, when he was 19, he was in Florida. Okay, and I think the biggest part that we are missing in this story is how Jani met this person, the lead singer of a heavy metal band, of a very famous heavy metal band, and his manager. So nobody ever says, like, did they meet him over at the Rainbow? Did they meet him just at the hotel bar? You know, at Tesco's or wherever. Where did they meet him to invite Jani backstage where this alleged incident happened? So that's a big part of the missing story. Because do I believe, yeah, I don't think anybody's going to have that much kind of trauma or spout something out like that, you know, when they're embarrassed because they're a man, and this doesn't happen to men, and it does. So never be embarrassed by that. Never be embarrassed for this happening to you, whether you're a man or woman, child, anything, everybody. You know, whoever you are, your heart and soul is what matters, not the outside, not anything else. So when your heart and soul is suffering as bad, I think it absolutely 100% came out in the way Jani was doing drugs and drinking and everything like that. I mean, I saw him the only time I was ever around Warrant, because I never hung around Warrant. I had a friend working for them, and we were all just hanging out after the show, walking back to the hotel bar, do little, you know, stuffs. Walking back to one of the rooms, there was like 5 of us, and here comes Jani, sans clothes, nothing on except for a Jack Daniels bottle, swinging, and we're like, whoa, 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 dude. And I think this is around when Bobby was going to divorce him and stuff, and with that on top of it, and a lot of other pressures I'm sure he had, you know, guilt from cheating on Bobby, stuff like that. He was just in horrific shape. And, you know, looking back, hearing this now, I'm thinking, that makes sense. Bobby said something in her book or interview that she wondered why he was playing the victim all these years, and now she understood. It made sense. And it makes sense to me looking back at someone that was that wasted, that messed up. And not just because it was, you know, the party on the road in the 80s and stuff like that. There was something more psychological, like, there's other band members that party like Dave Mustaine or like Lars and James and everybody. They were just partying, and yeah, they were trying to get over the bus wreck with Cliff, but they were partying because it was part of the lifestyle. And it's very easy to get lost into that lifestyle day to day. It's very hard to drop the habit when you go home or when you can't handle it anymore. So looking back and seeing the difference, I can look at a musician and see what that difference is, if he's just lost in the party or if he's drowning something out. And Janie was definitely drowning those sorrows in that Jack Daniels bottle. And he was naked. Bobby, why? You're an awesome chick. You're an awesome chick. You're beautiful. So, and I know that she went through her struggles, and God love her for getting through it. But so Jamie was in Florida at the age of 19. So without that piece of knowledge of how he met this person, this lead singer and his manager, whether it was at a club, anything like that, we just have the incidents itself being admitted to, which I can understand Janie might not want to go into detail because he was having a very hardcore panic attack that night that he told Bobby and stuff. And yeah, and I could see why he wouldn't want to go into detail. He didn't want to, and Bobby wouldn't want to push it over the edge either. Janie didn't want, he was already in a spiral. Do you want him to spiral down more by pushing it, by asking these questions? Or, because she hasn't revealed that. There's a lot she hasn't revealed, so he may have told her. So publicly, we don't know how Janie met him. Now, if he met him at the Rainbow, we can kind of put more two and two together. If you met him in Florida, yes, several bands were on tour, and I've seen in Reddit people talking about who they think it was. One of the possibilities is Rob Halford. This is allegedly. I am not accusing Rob. Absolutely no way, shape, or form. I know his actual management, Trinifold, and that's Bill Kerbishley. They also handle Robert Plant, The Who, UB40, Judas Priest. And Jane, a woman named Jane, has been the basic on-hands manager for Judas Priest. I can't stand the woman, so keep in mind when I say this. Would Bill and Jane be involved in something like that? Absolutely not. Not the people that I know. Like I said, I don't care for Jane. We've only, I think, met face to face once. But Bill Kerbishley, I know because he was there the morning John passed away. I know how he's handled other situations with bands. I know who that man is. And yeah, he had a rough and tumble past, but he's a decent manager. He does want to protect his bands, of course. That's natural in this business. I think we have all kind of figured that out. But I think that's also dropping to the point where managers are like, you need to take responsibility. Because they're the ones that are going to have to deal with it in the long run and help the musician deal with it. So knowing that I definitely, it was not Kerbishley or Jane involved in the situation, in my opinion. Like I said, I'm not saying this was Rob. The Rob I know that I've met, I don't see that. But Bobby did say in an interview that she didn't like Judas Priest, and she would talk to the guy who was interviewing her, whose podcast it was, later about that. So she wouldn't talk on air. But was it because of Janie, or was it because some of the members tried to hit on her or tried kind of degraded her? Because I could see KK or someone or Scott, the drummer, doing stuff like that, trying to be all suave. And Bobby Brown doesn't strike me as a kind of woman that she sees through that bullshit facade. So why she said that, I don't know. But Judas Priest, so she said it was around 85. So he would have had to be around 2021, which would make sense because Kiss and Judas Priest were both on tour. Rob was in LA. He was filming with Ronnie James Dio and all this big, I forget the album it was. It was the Medal for Hunger in Africa, something like that, which was kind of the big trend at the time with We Are the World and Do They Know It's Christmas Time? So they were both on tour, but not in 85. Priest was had only had one show in the United States in 1985. The rest of it was in Europe. So where we know Warrant had not come out, but Janie was on the scene in LA, just starting out, trying to make it big, had come there from Florida around that time, around 85-ish. So he would have been 19 in about 1983. So 84, 85, him being, I guessing he probably went to Los Angeles in about 84. But keep in mind, I also, and I'm going to save this for last, I think there's a couple lead singers that are just brushed by. And I'm not going to say their names because it's not my place. And I'm not accusing anybody in any of this band. Like I said, I'm just repeating what I've said. Everybody is absolutely 100% innocent until proven guilty, all right? So, again, if we had more information about where it happened, where he met the band, how he got the call to, hey, invite me backstage, was it because they had seen Warrant playing somewhere or what? So that's a big thing we're missing. But he said he went backstage and he was slipped some stuff and were, cocktails and rocktailing it. So, and they said it was brutal, which would make a lot of sense. So, like I said, Rob was in town of 1985 recording in May. Judas Priest didn't have any shows in the United States. Kiss was still on tour. They were having a show in Long Beach around the time. So this is just kind of putting, like when you have the police and they have their think board and you see the movies with the pictures and the red string and stuff connecting everybody. This is just ways to connect or disconnect. And like I said, again, not accusing anybody because as far as Rob is concerned, I don't know. I mean, we can't say because there was another channel that was like, well, their drummer had been convicted and arrested of atrocities as well. But you know what? Association. Just because one bad apple spoils the bunch doesn't mean the rest of the bunch are spoiled. So we cannot say just because that one drummer guy got convicted of a situation and was in jail and stuff like that doesn't mean that Rob is. So we cannot say just because this guy, it's like saying, I don't even know, because I'm a stripper, it's just like because one stripper gives the rest of us a bad name doesn't mean the rest of us are doing what that one girl is, type of thing. Just because that drummer got in some trouble and was a predator doesn't mean anybody else in the band is. And again, I can't stand Glenn. So for me to say this is just something that's kind of, I'm weighing out the perspective of how I see it. Because like I said, their managers, that is not something I could see Bill Kerbishley doing. Definitely not seeing Jane doing. But with that said, Rob has his own personal manager. But then so did Paul. And Paul even said something in his book that was, what was the guy's name? Doyle coin, something like that, a coin, but Bill, I think. So again, these are all alleged things that Paul said in his book that Bill had been eyeing someone that was in a very inappropriate manner and age and time. And the next morning that the manager in question had made a joke about not only that person, but the photographer as well. So, there's all these little things, but just because someone is gay or maybe, go both ways or not sure or just celibate, doesn't, just because they choose something different from what we see as a black and white approach to life in society, doesn't mean that it makes them more apt to do stuff like this. Not at all. People are just people. Consenting adults are consenting adults. But this was not a consenting adult situation. So, and I think that there might be, let me see, I'm reading my notes. Oh, and another, so, Kiss and Judas Priest, because these are people that were named on the Reddit boards again and again and again. And people are like, no, this person did it. No, this person did it. We can't say who did what or anything because we weren't there. And I think, and Bobby knows, and she's not going to tell for her own proper reasons. Can't be mad at her for that. Janie held it inside because, men in society aren't supposed to do this. But there was also a story that another channel was highlighting from Rob's book about this guy who, it was his birthday, and his personal manager, not Jane, not Bill, had got him a really hot guy to give him a massage on his birthday. Just a regular, we all go get our necks cracked type of massage. And then he happened to be what I used to be, but the male version, swinging from the pole. So Rob went to see him later that night. They did what every groupie does with the rock star. And this person was really trying to use it because, oh my God, groupies can be guys too. We're not just women. But so they hung out after the guy did his own show that night, after the pre-show, and had a lovely adult consenting time with Rob and another friend. The male stripper guy brought another friend. And that's cool because he was like trying to make it look all seedy and stuff. It's like, to me, I'm like, well, that's just normal. I mean, you have Dr. Dot who does massages for a lot of, and she's a licensed massage therapist. So she does that, but nobody tries to make it look seedy or anything. She's dated a few rock stars. Big deal. Just another groupie situation as far as Rob Halford and that situation in his book where he hung out. They were attracted to each other. They were consenting adults. So that story, don't let that channel kind of misconstrue that, because if you put a woman in that situation, that it was, who I'm trying to say, who's a womanizer? Robert Plant and Dr. Dot, because she's a massage therapist for Robert Plant. But no, like I said, if that situation was, and it was not, again, this is just kind of setting the scenario, Robert Plant and Dr. Dot, who had hung out after the show in a more intimate way, nobody would give them any problems. But because it was Rob, and he is very open about his sexuality, this particular person was spinning it to look more sinister than it was. And yet, like I said, you meet someone, he's a massage therapist. He's like, hey, I also do a show, a male review. How many strippers have met male rock stars, female strippers have met male rock stars and said, oh, you should come see me. Not this one. I didn't ever invite them into my club because, no, I keep that separate away from work. Only one guy in that band has seen me naked, not the whole band. But so many, many, many women who are strippers are like, yeah, you should come see me dance at the Crazy Horse. And the bands have gone. Or they've gone to a strip club and met strippers, or they've had, Dr. Dot has dated, like I said, a couple, and decently, not like sleazy, I'm not trying to say, but, we all hook up in different ways on the road, and these are absolutely normal ways. Just because it's between two men does not make it sinister or wrong, or make Rob Halford more apt to do that. Now, they talk about Kiss, and like I said, Paul Stanley in his book had that story about his manager, Bill Coyne, who they fired later. Again, does not make him more apt to do stuff, and these are all alleged stories because, Paul really doesn't know everything about it, just the people involved do. So we can't say that one thing led to another, or these guys' habits or choices of who they are, to be free with who they are. No, this is not things you can point to say, oh, this person did it, this person did it. Personally, I think there's a couple more lead singers that we're brushing over. One that I personally know. Not going to say their names because it's not for me to bring it out loud. But you know what? In LA, if this happened in LA, sometimes when people go in, and this is why I hated hanging out with bands in LA, I didn't like to go there with them, because a switch happens. It's like you're stepping into the sinister ground, and it's okay to be sinister. Because we all know, like Bobby Brown said, we didn't have a Me Too movement for men, for lead singers in heavy metal. It's easier and it's not always easy for women to come forward, but as hard as it is for a woman to come forward, it's harder for a man because of the way we project things onto men in society in our, growing up from the baby boomers and stuff. So let me see. Let's see. According to Rob was in town. Where did Janie meet the singer? Like I said, I'm looking at my notes, and I think I've pretty much touched on everything. So who it was, I have no clue. There are a couple people I could ask that I might ask down the line, but like I said, Rob had a personal manager, so don't drag Bill Kerbishley and Jane Andrews into this with Trinifold, because I'm kiboshing that right here and there, in my opinion, because I don't see any of this being condoned by those two, to be honest. Now, what Paul Stanley said, we have to take as a third party kind of hearsay. Because, but, it's just like, where are we going to find this information? Because we're going straight to people who were on the road, who were there, who saw some of it, but not all of it. So this will help us put two and two together. But we cannot put things together in a fashion that only supports what we want the outcome to be because of our opinion of life or people or whatever. We can't do that. We have to hope that one day maybe Bobby will say it. She'll say what Janie said, because Janie said it himself in an interview. He's like, I have been married, divorced, the R worded. He's like, you can sue me, throw me in jail, whatever. If Bobby ever just decides to adopt that, then yeah, I'll believe her. I'll believe who she says it is. I think there's a couple people behind the scene that I know she's told. Probably close friends, like we all would, not trying to say like she's a blabbermouth or anything. I don't think that of her. I think that probably really deeply hurt her, because she did love Janie. And much like I stick up for Vinny and am so against the Pantera tour and Rex Brown and all that, she's doing the same thing for Janie in his memory. I know Vinny wouldn't like this if I was alive, and she wants to protect her ex-husband, the father of her daughter, and when he's not able to defend himself or protect himself. She couldn't protect him then. She didn't know him then, but yeah, so I don't think, if Bobby ever comes out and says who it is, I will applaud her for that strength, but I also respect her for not wanting to say it, because there's a lot of things I won't say. We choose what we want to tell you guys so that you can get a whole picture, but not everything, because you got to keep something for yourself. And there are legal aspects. That's why I'm so cautious about this episode, because all this, like I said, is allegedly. And these are things that kind of people were putting together, and a lot of people were trying to defend the lead singers, and that's going to be another episode about why so many people were so quick to just, oh shit, sorry, hold on. Me and spilling my beer, half the time it doesn't make it to my mouth, unlike other things. But anyway, so I think a lot of people are trying real hard to put two and two together, and some people are just coming out right and saying, nope, I know it was this person or that person, or some of the people I mentioned. Oh yeah, without a doubt, because he likes a certain kind of lifestyle and a certain type of person. No, we can't judge people by that alone. But like I said, there's a couple other lead singers that I think it could be, that would really kind of knock your socks off, to be honest. And no, I'm not talking about anybody from like Metallica or anything like that. There's just a couple other people that kind of makes me go, So, but like I said, until whoever knows who it was, comes out and says we can only speculate. We can only say, hey, this and this and this and this, but you don't know everybody's proclivities. There's prowesses, or there's a lot of things that are kept behind closed doors. Someone even threw out Marilyn Manson, again allegedly. So I don't know what to say because I don't know who it is. I couldn't tell you who it is. In my mind, there's one of two people, but only one living person knows. Maybe two. I don't know. Well, the person who did it and Bobby Brown. Those are okay, two living people. If their manager, maybe three. Just like there's only three of us that really know everything, every second of what was going on when John died in the room that morning after. And one of them has sadly passed away. So I passed away almost 3 years ago. But yeah, so it's really messed up that Jani had to hold on to that and he didn't feel like he couldn't tell anybody until he was just so spiraling that it was too late, to save him from the feelings. I mean, it's never too late, but I think admitting it to him really kind of knocked himself down because of what we as a society put labels on, and tell people this is how this person is supposed to be because of this. We need to stop doing that because think of how Jani might have been able to move past it, might still be with us. I'm not the biggest fan of Warrant, but I know a lot of people are. You guys could have had a lot more Warrant songs. Who knows? So had he been able to reach out more and, like I said, Bobby was there for him the best she could be because you don't want to poke an angry situation that's already spiraling. You want to try and lift him back up to a safe place. So I think Bobby really was trying to keep Jani in that safe place because he obviously felt safe with her that he could share a hell of a lot more than he could with anybody else. So Bobby, respect for not telling, but if you ever do, I'm right behind you. Good for you. But all right, everybody. Hope you like today's topic. I know we're going to have a lot of comments down there in the, so tell me what you think. Tell me your opinion. I mean, there's other groupies who know these people like I do. Like I said, somebody was saying had to do with Kiss, had to do with Priest. Maybe not, maybe neither of them. We don't know. It's all allegedly. We can't say who, none of us can say except the people who actually know, who were there and who were told exactly. And really only the people who were there know. So, and whoever it is, they're going to get their karma sooner or later. I wouldn't want to be in that purgatory hell thingy that person's going to be in, those people. And I hope Jani's free of that trap that kept him messed up for so long. Because like I said, the only time that I ever saw him, you can tell the difference between somebody who's just an alcoholic drunk because they're stuck in the party and someone who's drinking because they're trying to escape something. And Jani was definitely escaping a whole lot. So all right, you guys, again, hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. Like I said, let's have a conversation, a decent, respectful conversation down in the comments. We're not knocking anybody. I just want to hear opinions, what you guys think, or maybe some of you know something I don't that can be added to it. So let us know. But okay, you guys, again, thank you so much for everybody who got to the end of the episode. Stay tuned because like I said, bring your Patreon memberships over here. We are starting a lot of new stuff. I want to make it so Sundays kind of becomes Kristen and I's podcast episodes. So kind of want to be working with that right now. I've got a caller here soon. Sorry, my dress is falling off a little bit, but it's staying on and we're still decent. Nothing's exposed. So, because like I said, I have a community violation. So thank you, everybody, as always. And if you are just lurking and you really want to be part of the family, because we've got a pretty awesome community of family members here. Really, truly. Just all kinds of walks of life, all ages, everybody. It's friggin' awesome. So if you're just wanting, and you really want a new place where you can just really hear the real side of rock and roll, not some facade, not some rehashed list that I'm having some AI voice animate so I can get a bunch of clicks and likes and commercial watches and money and stuff. No, this is the real deal, you guys. So hit that subscribe, become a member, really support the channel, because let's get the reality out there instead of the half-truths that are on a lot of these sites, these other channels. Not like Backstage Pass News and stuff. They're really awesome. There's a lot of really ones that are well researched, but there's a lot of ones that are not. They're just money grabbers. So come to the dark side. We got nothing but real life here. So, all right, you guys, thanks again for tuning in. And we'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.